The closest thing I can link it up to is this kids on a sand lot at a baseball field. That you can't play because you're not right. We don't like you. They're like, yeah. And another one talked about, says, did you hear what happened to a Major, I'm going to call him Major C for now. I don't really have a name for him as of yet. I have names for the love interest and Captain B, but I'm not saying them quite yet. But Major is that Major, after he brought back, he died. He was killed. I know. I got that black letter. And what a black letter is during the film would flash like a letters with black lining on there that shows in Europe. And it turns out the Major's family knew about me and knew about Captain B, and they were actually in Europe at the time, and they sent that letter out with black lettering to show that he's dead. And he says, and they asked me, Captain, how many of those letters have you received? Said, I received 8 since I left. And then the soldiers look at him and said, yeah, but we're doing the right thing. Cap B looks at them and says, are you really doing the right thing? They look at him like, what are you talking about? We're U.S. Marines. You're right, we are Marines. Or you are, I should say. I was one. I don't know what to say to you guys out there in the field. Yeah, the U.S. Armed Forces backing you up. You're fighting the good fight. But I know it's not you guys that are down there in the trenches making the decisions. I feel our leaders are not. They're not like guys like Eisenhower. Like something happened. I'm not sure what happened. I don't know. It feels like that. The last 20 years things have really changed. And yeah, I know people have more money. Yeah, I know this, but you used to have a time in this country where these people were actually thinking about the genuine good of this country. And these leaders that are up there in these offices, they think of these positions as now as a game. They've got so much money, so much power. They say they believe in the troops. They say that, but really when you get it broken down, they think of them no more as a tool. No more as someone to get a job done. It's easy to think that way. You almost have to think about that way if you're the president. Because as president, when you have war, you send men to die. And you have to think, wow, I gotta do this. I gotta send more people to die. How do I explain this to their families? And you know how the U.S. explains it, the president explains it? They write a form draft letter and stamp a signature on it and say, the Defense Department regrets to inform you that your people are dead. They stamp it with the seal of the President or the Armed Forces of the United States with their apologies. And that's that. Now, some of you may say, that's not right. That's not fair. But when you're dealing with situations where you're dealing with not just like 2,000 or 3,000 dying, like, see, that's the thing with in the press, they're talking 3,000 people died. In World War II, millions were lost. What do you say to that? In Vietnam, hundreds of thousands were lost. Some were missing. And that's why we still have that monument. So we never forgot their names. They didn't disappear in history. And just like that 9/11 monument, where it had the names of the victims and the firefighters around that thing, just so those names would not die. And the only thing I fear is that they don't lose their way in those places, because you see these videos of like these bums and these homeless people who need help, yeah, but they're going to bathroom and fountains and really these areas, these lands, these 9/11s, they're almost holy in a way, that these people weren't even doing anything. They weren't even involved in the fight. I mean, honestly, I really think there should have been a difference in the name of the firefighters that lost. They should have stars. They should have the presidential seals. They should have symbols of Congressional Medal of Honors by each one of their names. Their name is just there. And there's another victim. They should have been named, because the victims in there, a lot of the victims who died in 9/11, they just died. They weren't expecting it. The firefighters and police officers that ran into that building, they committed the ultimate price. And same with the Vietnam Memorial, where it shows the men dead or missing, so those names never get forgotten. I wonder what side of a memorial or thing they'll make for Afghanistan. We had wars with people. We had 400,000 people. We lost 3,000 people. And the press the press basically blackmails the president. Says the president's a scumbag because he allowed 3,000 people to die. Oh yeah, but it was perfectly okay to allow millions die. And now as a Marine, or a former Marine, I see you, my brethren, my brothers, who've been there, done it. I don't do it anymore. I pose this question to you, that maybe it's not the fact the U.S. Marines and the Armed Forces stand for something good. It's not them who is wrong. It is the leadership is wrong. The leadership of the U.S. Marines, or I should say the president. It's the people in charge. A majority of these people, they're interested in it as a game. It's not to them, anyone. It's nothing. They do the whole song and dance, and they've gotten good about it. You can't be in a professional world and not be good about that. Anyway, that was the monologue. I know I kind of rambled there, but it gives you an idea what this man is. So throughout the film, he feels, Captain B feels that he looks back and he sees all the executives involved and all the corporate, and even you can say 1%, and how it causes war and 3,000 people died, and he did the right thing, and the people, the right people that he was defending, not the United States, the leadership that he was bringing back here, and then doing the right thing by going to the head, saying, I did this, this is why I did this, and I'm willing to accept any punishment you give me. And their punishment is one of the most severe punishments they could give him. Exile. From, not from then, but from being what you were trained to be. So then you had to reinvent yourself. But by reinventing yourself, you found other things. In this case, also love. Where you found a girl that was a complete opposite that he was, Captain B. Her name is Sharon. Complete opposite. And they met. I haven't really worked that out. I'm thinking soup kitchen. And that's the funny thing. I'm thinking of the soup kitchen where they kind of meet, and he's just kind of helping out in the soup kitchen on that because it's kind of what he can do. On that, and he's going to school trying to get like some degree in welding or something where he gets more money, but he's just he's doing the right thing, and then he meets Sharon, and then I think in a soup kitchen. But Sharon is the daughter of one of the political figures, one of the people that he detests in a way that. He's not sure that this particular person was someone that would be upstanding and someone that here, but then this kind of snowballs into a whole another thing where he finds out that Captain B gets involved in, and they kind of it just snowballs into a bigger thing. Now the whole thing. I mean, this is just one thing, but it's kind of the conversation. It's a little bit like where they go on a date, they actually kind of hate each other, but then she gets mad at him for something, and then he's like, and he confronts her, or it's like, you told me to do this, I was here, you told me this, I was here, you did this, I was there, what do you want from me? And she's like, I don't know. And then he really calls her out, says, you know what, I think you're just a tease, I think you just enjoy all this. Says, I thought you were different. I thought I was genuine with you. I was probably one of the most genuine people on there here. And then she asks a question. Says, okay, you're so genuine. Why don't you tell me how your first kill felt like? And his response was like this. I'm not going to talk about it. And she's like, really, then you're not being genuine. No. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever fished or hunted? I fished. Okay. You fished. Did you clean the fish? No. Who cleaned the fish? My grandfather did. So, you're running your mouth to me about killing life, and you fished. All you did was put a hook around a fish's mouth, dragged it out of the water, handed it off to somebody else, and they did the dirty work. That's what you're doing to me. It says, well, you're telling me to be genuine. It says, I was genuine when I did all those things. Now you're asking something that you don't ask servicemen. You're not a serviceman anymore. I said, that's not my choice. Well, you tell me, because that doesn't make sense.